and I have a grandniece named Sydney Grace, and this is what she does. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to get started. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the literature review that the YouthPower Learning team has been conducting. And all of you know that positive youth development is a very simple idea, really, that if young people have the knowledge and the skills and the support that they need, that they'll thrive as adults. Their probability of having good health and productive employment and happy families are improved, and that supports the next generation. And within that idea, we've identified 4 domains. So the assets are the knowledge, skills, and resources that young people need. Agency is that ability that we heard about so eloquently this morning to use those assets to make something good happen. The contribution is actually making those assets work. And all of that rests within an enabling environment or a safe, supportive place for youth to grow. So what makes a program a positive youth development program? We looked through the peer-reviewed literature and the gray literature for programs that served youth in low and middle-income countries between the ages of 10 and 29 that targeted more than one outcome within this positive youth development framework across these 4 domains, and that where there was some documentation of evaluation. And I don't know how well this shows up. The dark colors are the countries with more, where we found more programs. We identified 97 programs across 54 countries with a concentration, not surprisingly, in the global health sector, many of those programs in South Africa, India, and China. And not surprisingly, we found that the most rigorous evaluations were in the global health sector. And just to highlight a couple of points, you have there's a brief report on this meta review available. Maybe it's out in the hall or maybe it's on your tables, but you should definitely get one before you leave. Thank you, Rico. The strongest evaluations were done in the global health arena, where we did find programs that efficaciously changed not only attitudes and knowledge, but also risky behavior by using education compared with training and practice, skill training and practice. And we also found programs within the gender equity area that primarily used focusing resources on girls and young women, giving them safe places to learn skills and to become more empowered, and that those programs did reduce child marriage and improve the economic conditions of those folks. But there are a lot of programs that are going to be in the final report. I don't have time to talk about them all. These are the things I want you to take home quickly. The successful programs that we found use multiple strategies to target multiple outcomes in this very broad frame of positive youth development. More than half of them used some kind of peer-to-peer activity or peer-led activity. That's a popular strategy to use within positive youth development. The efficacious programs we found, many of them used some component was peer-to-peer, and that positive youth development by its definition is for everyone, and we found programs that targeted vulnerable populations, but what we found is that just sort of implementing widely without making an effort to target vulnerable populations is not as effective as actually, because people are systematically excluded. So if you don't systematically include them, they'll get excluded. So where are the gaps? And that is one of the gaps, is that particularly LGBTQ youth, we did not find programs that really targeted those youth in the way we found programs that targeted women, for example, or children in poverty or children in dangerous neighborhoods. Many of these programs use peer-led activities which have not been evaluated, and in fact we found positive youth development across all sectors, most of it not rigorously evaluated. And because positive youth development is such a broad idea, it's a great opportunity to collaborate across sectors. And we found examples of that. And when we found them, frequently the outcomes were measured in a single sector. And so what we'd like to see is moving across sectors more with measurement so we can build evidence to see how that works. And I'm done. You can see I don't stack rapidly either.